my dear readers, listeners, and, of course, friends. The Battle of Hastings in 1066 stands as one of the most pivotal moments in English history, a cataclysmic confrontation that redefined the landscape of power in medieval Europe. At the heart of this clash were Harold Godwinson's elite housecarls wielding the fearsome two-handed Dane axes, tools of war that not only symbolized their martial prowess, but also significantly impacted the battle's tactical dynamics. This essay aims to dissect, with exhaustive detail, the role of these housecarls and their formidable weapons, analyzing specific instances and assessing their effectiveness against the Norman cavalry and infantry. To fully appreciate the housecarls' role, one must first understand their origin and composition. The housecarls were not mere foot soldiers, but an elite cadre of professional warriors, a standing force in an era when such permanent military structures were rare. Trained from a young age, they were bound by loyalty to their lord, in this case Harold Godwinson. Their weapon of choice, the two-handed Dane axe, is a testament to their Norse heritage and the Anglo-Saxon affinity for integrating superior martial technology. The Dane axe, with its long haft, often between 4 to 5 feet, and a broad crescent-shaped blade, was designed for maximum leverage and force, capable of delivering devastating blows that could cleave through the sturdiest of armors and shields. On the fateful day of October 14th, 1066, the housecarls took their positions on Senlac Hill, forming the backbone of Harold's defensive line. The high ground provided a significant tactical advantage, allowing the housecarls to employ their axes with lethal efficacy against the advancing Normans. The initial Norman cavalry charges, designed to break the Anglo-Saxon ranks through sheer momentum and shock, were met with a resolute wall of housecarls. These elite warriors stood shoulder to shoulder, their axes raised high. As the Norman knights surged uphill, the housecarls swung their axes in powerful sweeping arcs. The first clash saw the Normans suffer grievously. Horses were disemboweled, and armored knights were unseated and hacked down. The two-handed Dane axe's design was particularly suited for countering cavalry. The long reach allowed housecarls to strike at the horses' legs and chests, bringing the mounts down and causing chaos within the Norman ranks. A single well-placed strike from a Dane axe could sever a limb or crush a helmet, and the psychological impact of such brutal efficiency cannot be overstated. The Norman cavalry, famed for their discipline and effectiveness, found themselves in disarray, unable to penetrate the housecarls' shield wall. One of the most dramatic instances of the Dane axe's effectiveness occurred during a critical phase of the battle when the Norman cavalry attempted a full frontal assault. The housecarls, demonstrating remarkable discipline and cohesion, held their ground. As the Norman knights closed in, the housecarls timed their counterattacks with precision, swinging their axes in concert to maximize the devastation. This tactic not only halted the Norman advance, but also inflicted severe casualties, forcing William the Conqueror to rethink his strategy. As the battle progressed, the Normans adapted by employing feigned retreats, a tactic aimed at drawing the Anglo-Saxons out of their defensive positions. On several occasions, parts of Harold's army, primarily the less disciplined Third, were lured into pursuing the retreating Normans. This maneuver created gaps in the Anglo-Saxon line, which the Normans quickly exploited. However, the housecarls, with their superior training and discipline, played a crucial role in mitigating the damage. When segments of the Anglo-Saxon forces were drawn out, the housecarls acted as a stabilizing force, quickly reforming their ranks and counterattacking to protect their vulnerable comrades. One such instance saw the Normans execute a feigned retreat, drawing a significant portion of the Anglo-Saxon forces downhill. Sensing the trap, the housecarls rallied, their Dane axes proving indispensable in the ensuing melee. The long reach and overwhelming power of the axes allowed the housecarls to strike at both infantry and cavalry, maintaining a defensive posture while delivering devastating blows. The ability to cleave through shields and armor with a single swing gave the housecarls a distinct advantage in these close-quarters engagements. Their disciplined response and the brutal effectiveness of their weapons allowed them to restore order and prevent a complete rout. Despite their valor and the formidable presence of the housecarls, the battle's tide began to turn following a series of Norman feigned retreats that effectively fractured the Anglo-Saxon defensive line. The pivotal moment, however, came with the death of King Harold. According to contemporary accounts, Harold was struck in the eye by an arrow, leading to his demise. This loss was catastrophic for the Anglo-Saxons, as it not only deprived them of their leader, but also shattered their morale. The Housecarls, though elite and highly trained, could not compensate for the vacuum of leadership and the ensuing chaos. With Harold's fall, the cohesion of the Anglo-Saxon forces disintegrated. The Housecarls continued to fight valiantly, their Dane axes claiming many Norman lives. However, the lack of coordinated leadership and the relentless pressure from the Norman forces eventually overwhelmed them. The final stages of the battle saw the Normans employ a combined arms approach, with archers, infantry and cavalry working in concert to systematically dismantle the remaining Anglo-Saxon resistance. The role of Harold Godwinson's elite Housecarls wielding two-handed Dane axes at the Battle of Hastings underscores the significance of specialized weaponry and elite troops in medieval warfare. The Housecarls' use of the Dane axe was not merely a matter of brute force, but a demonstration of tactical ingenuity and martial discipline. Their ability to repel Norman cavalry, withstand feigned retreats, and inflict severe casualties highlights their effectiveness and the critical role they played in the battle's dynamics. While the ultimate outcome of the Battle of Hastings was a Norman victory, the legacy of the Housecarls and their formidable weapons endures as a testament to the fierce resistance mounted by the Anglo-Saxons. Their stand at Senlac Hill remains a poignant example of the impact that well-trained, well-armed warriors can have on the course of history.